Hey gang, Mocha Boy here from Reddit Force. This is the follow-up video that I mentioned in the post. We're going to look at the second attack on the base. It was another Max Lava Hound attack, a Town Hall 10 attacker with Max Lava Hounds and 5 spells, and he was only able to she was only able to pull off about 66% on the second attack. And I'll show you exactly why that worked out, and hopefully you can take some of these design considerations and incorporate them into your bases. But before we get into that, I just wanted to mention a couple of caveats. I never ever made the claim that this base is 3-star proof, or can even withstand a seasoned LaLoon attacker. Somebody that understands CB LaLoon or any of the Golem derivatives of LaLoon would flatten this base. I'm sure of it. But it takes a certain type of player who has the that type of assessment skill and execution to be able to pull that off against a base like this. So that's one thing. Now the other thing is, remember the first rule of forum bases: never ever copy a forum base, and that goes for this base too. I mean, you're welcome to use it as a template, but tweak it to cover any of the deficiencies that you see. Now that being said, I did account for a lot of different permutations for different types of attacks, and some of them worked out, some of them didn't quite work out, and I will be tweaking the base to see if I can get some of the results that I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and take a look at the base, and I'll explain exactly what happened here. Now, one of the things that I didn't do in the last video was talk about the permutations that I run through as I'm planning out the base. I say, what happens if an attack comes in from the west? What happens if an attack comes in from the east, or the northeast, or this side, or that side? And then try to cover as many of those angles as possible. You'll never get all of them, but if you can just focus on 2 or 3 of them, that increases your chances exponentially with every good decision that you make. Because if they happen to make the wrong decision and attack you from the wrong side, then you're in good shape. So attacking from the west, you understand why that's a bad idea. Attacking from the north, this was where things got really interesting. So what happens is so the distance here between these air defenses would take a hound and a hound, but then separate them from their loon backup. As a matter of fact, if you look at the way that the defenses are lined up, they would come to here, consolidate here, consolidate there. With no other defenses to target, they start moving east, right straight into this wizard tower, where they start with the splash damage, and then Teslas to take out whatever's left, and then they'll flow directly right into another wizard tower. And the pathing was planned out sort of that way, and it actually ended up working in that respect. And that was to get the hounds to separate from their loons. The air defenses would take out the hounds, and then the wizard towers would be responsible for taking out the rest of the loons. Now this base was kind of built with LaLoon in mind, only because we're seeing that attack so often lately that have to come up with some new designs for it. So what you'll see in the replay is that again, the hounds came in, did their thing, went straight to the defenses. The loons came in, they did their thing. They came to about this spot, and then they all hooked right, and then down this way. And they all got murdered by the wizard towers and bombs that were in that vicinity. So there are a couple of things that I do have to tweak with the base, but again, this was just a concept base, and this is the way the process works. You throw it out there, see how you get attacked, tweak it until it's perfect, and then collect your defenses. So let's go ahead and take a look at that replay. This was a second attack, Max Town. This was their number 1 on me. So it's going to be 2 hounds on that air defense, 1 hound on this air defense. This hound is going to draw all of the aerial fire. So that's that was a good deployment. There's not much that I can do against that. And then watch the consolidation of the balloons. Here comes the 4th hound as backup for this air defense, and all the while that's happening, the Archer Queen is just pummeling all of those defenses, and unfortunately for her, it was the pups that ended up taking her out. But notice what happened here: the lava hound came this way, and then the balloons went that way. And I was able to pick these guys off as a group because there was a wizard tower here dealing splash damage, this Tesla, fast point defenses all around. And by the time they make it to that next wizard tower, they just get completely flattened. And all the while that's happening, they're carving a path kind of around the base, but with nothing. This Expo was responsible for taking out what was left of any of the air attackers that had targeted the town hall. Now, while all of that has happened, the Archer Queen has been deployed late, and she was able to snipe her. She was able to fight her way into the core and then snipe the base for 2 stars. I probably can tweak the placement to get an X-bow closer to the north, and just to cover that permutation. But the fact that I was able to separate the lava hounds from their balloons, the fact that it took the AQ to have to go in there. None of the minions were able to get it to the town hall. It took the Archer Queen on a late deploy to get to that town hall, to get the 2-star. I would say that, against a town hall attacker, this is a 65% attack. Again, it was a brute force attack. If this were an actual surgical strike, I'd be probably in a lot of trouble. And one of the posters has noted that a CB LaLoon golem with heroes coming in from the south could potentially end up taking out 2 of these air defenses, which is absolutely true. I don't know if that's actually the case, especially with all of these point defenses available, but I mean, it's something that I'll be looking to see if that's even possible. The defenses were kind of compressed. Let me see if I can... I mean, I had accounted for the possibility that might happen, but I was trying to make the south and the north attack vectors as unpalatable as possible by taking as many of these defenses and kind of concentrating them into this wall. So if anything does come into here, they've got a cannon firing on them, an archer tower, Tesla, Whiz, mortar. There's a lot of stuff that can fire on this one position. So although it's possible, I don't know how likely it is, unless the attacker has extremely high level heroes to take out those ADs. I'm not saying it's impossible, but they'd have to make a pretty significant investment in troops to get at those ADs. So that said, I would say that for this round, the base has done what it was intended to do. I'm going to leave this up for a couple more wars and see see how it handles some different types of attacks, and then post those replays back after I make a few tweaks to the base. So yeah, again, enjoy. See if you can incorporate some of those principles into your base designs. Again, don't copy the base wholesale. Make it your own. And just always remember the first rule of forum bases. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video.